जातं सहगण रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे आनंद प्रेम रत्न हरे कृष्णा special contribution of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally we discuss these topics before Gaur Purnima. But somehow now I am reading a lot about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we are going to Yatra after some 5 weeks or something. So I thought I will speak on this topic today. This may not finish today, but we'll see what we can discuss. So special contribution. When you speak about contributions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or contributions of any individual, it can be in different fields. Someone may have done contribution in cinema, they are given awards. Someone may have done contribution in the field of sports. Someone must have done contribution in the field of economics. And someone may have done contribution in politics. The most worst thing to get into, especially in present society. Politics. The most worst means nasty. If you are nasty, then you are a good politician. That has become politics has become equivalent to nastiness. So anyway, so that is a different topic. So people may have done contributions in different fields. Not necessary that every contribution can be positive. That is another thing which we need to know. So negative contribution, whether it is good for beneficial for the human society, based on that criteria we decide whether it is a positive contribution and negative contribution. So at least in present society, everything which goes in the name of special contribution, it's all not beneficial to the human society. Krishna spoke that in Bhagavad Gita, that how demons, they always engage in activities which are not beneficial for human society. What is the word? Kurvante ugra karmano kshayayo jagato hitaha. So demons, they engage in ugra karma. Ugra means severe, painful, very destructive. Prabhupada gave example there in the purport. If you see, he gives example. Of course it can be jagato ahitaha. Ugra karma Kshayaya means it is destructive, and it's not beneficial. Prabhupada gives example of nuclear weapons. Although we see in Vedic culture also Brahmastra and all, there is discussion about it. But mostly Kshatriyas would fight face to face. So general mass was kept aside. So you can see how Kshatriya fighting was not unbeneficial for human beings. And that too, they would fight for establishing dharma. Anyway, of course not every Kshatriya would. They can do for self-aggrandizement also. It is particularly mentioned about Parikshit that he did not conquer different directions for his own self-aggrandizement. Bhagavatam more explicitly explains how everything Parikshit Maharaj did, or especially those Rajarshis, those saintly kings, they did everything for glorification of Krishna. That may not be so explicit in Mahabharata and other scriptures, but in Bhagavatam at least very explicitly it is mentioned. Like, Yudhishthira Maharaj, he performed Rajasri Yajna for glorification of Krishna. So everything they did, Yudhishthira, Parikshit, their Kshatriya activities, through their Kshatriya activities, what they were doing, they were glorifying Krishna. So Varnashrama can be mundane, but it can be directly engaged in Krishna service. That is special feature of Varnashrama. It is a social system. Of course, it is a material system, or system for the material world. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it is a perfect system, social system. Although we see in Kali Yuga that also degrades. But Saraswati Thakur explained it because it is a perfect system, but it is meant for removing the imperfections of the human beings. Therefore, sometimes that, because coming in contact with the imperfections of human beings, that may get degraded. But there is no other better alternative for human society. So we have to adopt that. And the goal is spiritual progress, like ashram dharma. Ashrama is meant for spiritual progress. Ashram dharma. So reduce all material sense gratification, because out of the 4 ashrams, only one ashram, some little sense gratification is allowed, but mostly no. Where is he? So there is no room for sense gratification. Purpose is to more explicitly explain it. The goal of ashram dharma, all these ashram dharma, is to become free from sex life. Explicitly. Of course, any sense gratification, but because that is considered as most important among all the materialistic activities. So that was the purpose. So therefore it is spiritually progressive. So any Vedic sage, followers of the Vedic culture, not necessarily Vaishnavas, anyone, they always strive for establishing varnashrama culture in the society. Be it as Mimamsaka or Nyaya. So, Mayamadis, although Shankaracharya, he said, Vedanta Vakeshu Sadaramantaha Kopinavanta Kalu Bhagyavanta. That one who is absorbed in the Vedanta Vakya. Why Vedanta Vakya? Because that is spiritual. Brahma Jnana. So, begins with Vedanta. Tato Brahma Jijnasa. Spiritual knowledge begins there. So those who are absorbed in Vedanta and those who have taken sannyas, Kopinavanta, sannyas, they are very fortunate in Kali Yuga, like that. But in general, for general people, not everyone will take sannyas, so they were encouraged to perform their prescribed duties. Varnashrama system. So this is social contribution actually of any Vedic followers, Vedic leaders among the Vedic followers, mostly Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, sannyas, saintly persons, preachers. So, because that is not extent, so all the contributions which we consider as great, they are not we, means which are considered in the materialistic society, in modern material, because it's a demonic society, it's all negativity. Contribution is, it is only, it only creates more and more ugra karma and not beneficial for human society. So there can be like this, positive and negative contributions. And so this involves, so Varnashrama culture involves everything, economic, cultural, social, political, every aspect of human life. So therefore Prabhupada would often say that human civilization begins with Varnashrama. Anyway, so that is negative and positive contributions. So someone in modern society, someone so-called modern society, so-called developing or developed or civilized, all these terms are used, which are, there is no meaning or sense to this, because in the society of cats and dogs, so ultimately cats and dogs, what is their contribution? Quarrel on the street, tear each other, tear off each other. That's what is happening, all these wars, every day literally tearing off. Politicians, what they do, each other, they are tearing off each other. Parliament, what it is, that put some cats and dogs in the hall, in the Parliament hall. Or what is the United Nations General Assembly now, presently meetings are going on. So all these big cats and dogs are coming and yelling at each other. So this is what is their contribution is. Anyway, so now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you see him, how the materialistic people view his contribution. So, or what is his individual, what is his personality. And generally the modern proggish historians, they think him as a part of bhakti movement, a saint from Bengal who contributed in bhakti movement. So according to them, bhakti movement, different people, they have different, obviously they should have so many different opinions. So bhakti movement started in 9th with Alvars, 10th century or 9th century. These Polish people, they don't know that. Actually, some Sri Vaishnavas should do. There must be some research on that. Because some of the Alvars didn't come at 9th or 10th century. Who was that? None Alvar was even present when Krishna was present. So, of course, they don't even understand Krishna was present in 5,000 years. Oh, what to speak of Krishna was present in 5,000. Whether Krishna personality existed also is a question for them. So these Pragish historians, they think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one among some saint who contributed in bhakti like that. So, but just now we discussed about Varnashrama culture. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is a complete movement. Prabhupada, one of the points which he always means he presented Krishna consciousness as a Krishna conscious movement as a complete movement. So we may think we are spiritual or we are very devotional and Vaishnava, we should go to Vrindavan and chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada's movement is, he didn't present it like that. So it's a complete movement. Since we are meant for transforming everything. So philosophical and spiritual. Ultimately spiritual, no doubt. Prabhupada, he said that I don't like this. Who is that? How he put it? I don't remember exact statement now. Sitting in Vrindavan or go Radha Kund and chanting. We want people like Arjuna to fight like Arjuna. Anyway, so it's a complete moment. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's moment is. If you want to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Srila Prabhupada, you may directly go to jump to Chaitanya Charitamrita. You may try to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. It is not actually the procedure. Because many so-called followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is what they are presenting, right? We are like what we may do Raganuga Bhakti. Of course, today's topic, special contribution, it will come to that part. Because topic is special contribution. But anyway, Prabhupada presentation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Prabhupada and whatever acharyas, our acharyas, if you go in parampara, if you see. They presented it as a complete movement because you cannot isolate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just like these modern historians they do, that he is some saint from Bengal who contributed in bhakti movement. So that bhakti and the bhakti movement, you cannot isolate it with a broader Vedic culture. So which is quite at large, which is going on in ISKCON now. ISKCON. So it is what continuation, and when we say special contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is a further addition and continuation to the broader Vedic culture. So that is how we have to understand special contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyway, these topics Just like there is mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, there should be a mood and mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Discussing all these points. So anyway, so the point here is that so people see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu him like that. He is a saint in the bhakti movement. So we may, or different people may see him in different ways. Oh, he is a religious leader, or a social reformer. Some of the Bengalis see him as communists in Bengal, which was Bengal was been till recently it was a very stronghold of communists. So we know the left governments ruled Bengal for many long. I think maybe 25 years. But Jyoti Basu was. Jyoti Basu. It is originally Vasu. It is supposed to be. There are Ashta Vasus are there. Then it becomes Basu, and then Bose. Actually, the surname is not Bose. Actually, it is Vasu. It is. I think now in somewhere they have written. I saw that Subhash Chandra Vasu like that. I think in Kolkata airport they have written Subhash Chandra Vasu International Airport. Of course, they pronounce it as Basu, and then thanks to British, they made it as Bose. Like there was proper god brother, his name was Bond Maharaj. Actually, the Sanskrit sannyas name is Vana Maharaj. There are sannyas names are there, right? Vana. Other day we were asking, oh, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave this name Krishna Chaitanya to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? His name is original name what? Birth name Vishwambara Mishra, son of Jagannath Mishra. In this mortal world, mortal pastimes in the mortal world. That name was given by Keshav Bharati Maharaj. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself told him in the year that this will be my name or something. He is initiating himself, actually. That was one justification given by Saraswati Thakur to why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from a Mayavadi. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't take from him. He himself initiated as a sannyasi. There are standard names for a sannyasi which they have to adopt or they are given. This is actually brahmachari name. It is not a sannyasi name. Chaitanya is there are some 10 brahmachari names are there. So Swarupa, Chaitanya, like that. Like Swarupa Damodar. He also is supposed to be a sannyasi, Swarupa Damodar, but kept brahmachari name. Who is that Swarupa Damodar? You all remember, no? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was one of the main associates in Jagannath Puri. Before he was in Kashi, maybe studying there as a brahmachari there in the Gurukula, with the name Swarup Damodar. He's what is his name? Purushottamacharya? No. His original name is. Anyway. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he kept this name, brahmachari name, for himself, Krishna Chaitanya. Later that was how because he was he was awakening Krishna Chaitanya in everyone's heart. That Krishna Chaitanya is the original Chaitanya, original consciousness of the living entity. So therefore his name is Krishna Chaitanya. Rupa Goswami incorporated that point in his glorification of, or he composed Pranam Mantra for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. Anyway, where we went? Born. So Vana Maharaj became Born Maharaj. So the communists in Bengal, they consider him to be is a social reformer. How they means appreciate him, his contribution. Of course, modern Bengalis, I think hardly they know. They all forgot Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maybe now Shaktas became more prominent than Vaishnavas or what. Although there Shakta community was always there. So how many people they study about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? But anyway, some communists appreciated him as a social reformer who gave opportunity for even downtrodden, lower class people for spiritual fulfillment. So in that way, communists, they appreciate him. So for them, he is a social reformer. So like that, different people may see him as different person and his contributions. But if you see all these things together, as Prabhupada presented Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement as a complete movement, and so his contribution can be realized in every aspect of human existence. So, and every aspect. So majorly people may see him as a religious personality. Religious personality. And what is his contribution in religion? If you want to discuss. So according to all this Pragish sociologists, so they study human cultures, etc., religions. So major religions, at least in the Western countries. So Christianity is the major religious force. What is the contribution of Christianity or Jesus, for that matter? Some theistic idea. They are considered believers, faith. So that belief in God, that rhetoric is still kept alive in the Western countries. That has to be appreciated. So Prabhupada, he didn't appreciate it didn't give so much appreciation to it. Because you go to church, throughout week you do sinful activities, and on special occasions, extra sinful activities. Tell everyone Merry Christmas and kill lots of animals and gobble them. No Merry Christmas for the animals. Of course, this may not be the original contribution of Jesus. It is said that we hear from the history that early Christians were vegetarians. The present brand of Christianity was founded not by Jesus, 400-500 years after his departure, after he came and went. So by Gregory and Augustine. Paul was, I think he was original disciple of their teachings are there. It was written. Even those followers of Paul, Thomas, etc. John, book of John, that is considered first book in, I think. So there are different books. So they are those 11. They are considered as immediate followers of Jesus. So, but Bible was written even long after, many hundred years after their departure, and they are believed to be their teachings. We don't know. They may get, if they come back now, Jesus, if he comes back now, they may be surprised to see their so-called followers. It happens with every founders of so-called religions. Like Buddha, he preached, what is that? Non-violence. Now many of the Buddhist followers, they gobble. I don't know which of that, Mahayana, who are meat eaters. One sect is a non-vegetarian and another sect is vegetarian. So the most famous Buddhist in the world today, who is that? He is a meat eater. So like that. So their contribution, religious contribution. What is the religious contribution of them? So every week, throughout week, you do sinful activity. Of course, this is present brand of Christianity. And in the weekend you go. But if you see the original books also, it's all mostly Bible, Quran, what is there? How Prophet Muhammad or Jesus, they did some miracles and helped them materially. Somebody is sick, suffering from diseases, and they cured him by touching or whatever, by doing some prayers or some by blessings. Oh, that is a famous thing among these people, evangelical Christians, right? They do conversion by curing them from diseases. So that is supposed to be the special contribution of this. What is presented as special contribution of Jesus by Christians, evangelical Christians. So mostly what are their stories of material, how they are bestowing material sense gratification. So there are prayers, oh God, give us daily bread. Every Sunday you go and pray to God. So Prabhupada, he didn't appreciate this so much. He said, he used to say that in African jungles there are elephants who eat 200 kg grass every day. How much you need, human beings? 2 kg every day? Difficult, right? So just for some 200-400 grams of food, you have to go to God to pray. He is maintaining without, elephants are not going and praying in the church, right? Oh God, give us our daily bread. They are just living. So he didn't consider this as a very highly developed, you can say, as a theology. That is what they use the word. Theology word cannot be used to in context with Vedic parlance. Why? Because theology, there is, in Western world they divide. So what they do, they categorize theology. There is philosophy, there is science. So theology means basically whatever Christian priests, so God reveals in their heart. So it doesn't need any proof, any logic. You have to just believe it. So this is called theology. Often this word is used among devotees, our ISKCON, in ISKCON parlance, if you want. But actually Vedic ISKCON, Krishna conscious knowledge is not just some theology, it is. You have to just believe. So in Vedic parlance, this word, these are all terminologies which are developed in English language by Western scholars. But these words cannot be, if you want to go by the literal meaning or in a technical sense, cannot be used in context with Vedic parlance. So, because here there is science, there is philosophy, there is theology also, whatever, because ultimately Vedic mantras were revealed in the heart of saints. They are called as Veda Drashtaras, Mantra Drashtaras. So they are not mantra kartrus. So somebody writes something, it is called as kriti, and he becomes kartru. So so this is philosophy, this is science, this is everything is there. Chemistry, physics, mathematics, everything is there in this. That is one reason why this, based on this knowledge, any moment which presents this as it is a complete moment. It is. So it is a complete contribution if you present it as it is. Of course, nowadays so many Babas, yogis, gurus, sadgurus, something they take from this and cheat people. That is a different thing. So everything is there, all knowledge is there in that. So theologically, if you see, it is not a very developed theology, Christian theology. So going to God for begging some food. So in Varnashrama culture, if you see, human society should be organized in such a way that there should not be anxiety for eating, sleeping, mating and depending. Right or not? If there is always anxiety about eating, sleeping, it is animals actually. Actually, animals, they are not in anxiety. Prabhupada sometime you would say. Of course, you can say that they must be, they will be, like bird is always in anxiety. So birds are morning and evening, they are chirping. Where is food, where is food, where is food, maybe. So if human society is always meditating only on this so-called, all this present society, job, career, money, always planning how to accumulate more and more money, where I'll invest, where I'll, how my income. So all this kind of, this is not human society. There should not be a. So you can see that if one is a believer and going to God, and he is asking for some food, that is nowhere even comes to the basic social structure. So forget about spirituality, religion. Of course, in Vedic culture, like there are different kinds of schools are there. There are different kinds of schools are there who have different ideas. Like Prabhupada, he appreciated this. At least they are better than atheists, like that. Now, if you want to discuss this point, that how Christians are better than atheists, so there are different schools of philosophers in Vedic culture also. So there is Nirishwara, Sankhya, Nirishwara Kapila is there, who said there is no God. So, and these people, they may not have developed theology, but they have some kind of faith. But if you see Sankhya, it's a very sophisticated philosophical system, understanding the constituents means avayavas. First word is avayavas. So constituents of material nature, a very developed, very sophisticated philosophy, but still Nirishwaravadi they are called, because in the Samkhya Sutras, Kapila mentioned, this is different Kapila, what we read about who is an avatar of Krishna, Devahuti, son of Devahuti Kapila. He is famous as Nirishwara Kapila. Because in his Samkhya Sutras, he said, one of the sutras is Ishvara Siddhaha, like that. So, existence of Ishvara is not confirmed. Siddhaha. Like that. He is expressing his doubt about the existence of Ishvara. Then the other scholars, Vedic follower, they criticized him. If you take his own philosophy, world is made up of avayavas, and to combine avayavas you need some person, something is required, right? Who will combine them? If world is made up of constituent ingredients, 24 ingredients, there should be someone who mixes them together to create to form the universe of creation. So this is argument of the Nyayiks. So then the next question should be whether one personality is there or many personalities are there. Their Nyayiks are criticized. Their understanding of existence of Ishvara. But anyway, it proves whether there is one or many, whatever it is. So, how many are there? One or there are many? So, then Vedantists, they argue that therefore you cannot, this doubt will always remain whether there is one or many creators. Therefore you cannot understand it by logic. So they criticize Nyayiks, logicians, and then they present that Shastra unit what he can be only understood by Shastra, not just by logic, not just by logic. So, but this idea of Christians that going to God for begging food is somewhat better than to be atheistic. So, again, like among the Vedic philosophers, Mimamsakas, they believe in their karma. That karma itself will give you result. You don't need to worship God. You do prescribed duties given in the Vedas according to your position, constitutional position as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. They are called as karmavadis, Mimamsakas. So they will argue that unless someone puts the seed in the field, paddy field, unless one performs that karma of putting the seed in the paddy field, he will not get result. So that is their argument. So this is again criticized by Vedantis, that just by putting seed doesn't give you a result, right? It is experience, common sense experience. That you need rain. This was discussion was going on in Govardhan Leela. So Nanda Maharaj is arguing from the Vedantic point of view, but Krishna is arguing from Karmi's point of view. Karmi is later he brings up, that's also Nyaya also, Nyayiks also he brings up. How clouds are formed, Krishna is arguing. So clouds are results of mode of passion. So what Indra has got to do with this? Like that he is arguing. So anyway, there are different levels of theism, atheism, although they are called as astika. Word astika generally in Indian languages, astika word is used for theist. It is, but actually theism and astikya is not. The astika is not the same equivalent word again. So now there is Nireshwara, Kapila is there, but he is astika is. So Nastikas means those who don't accept Vedic authority. So Kapila accepts Vedic authority, but he doesn't accept the authority of Ishvara. So like that there are, and so conception of Ishvara is varies according to. So we call Mayavadis, even though they believe in Ishvara, but we say that they are covered Buddhists, Nastics, Mayavadis, because their conception of Ishvara varies. Again, conception of Ishvara varies. Those who are believers in Ishvara also, it varies. Ultimately, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his conception of Ishvara is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. So other Vaishnava acharyas, they presented Narayana. So in this way, conception of Ishvara varies among those who believe in Ishvara also. So definition of theist and atheist cannot be understood. We cannot, all these terms we are speaking. Actually, what is Vedic knowledge cannot be presented in English, although we do speak in English. Or Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur wanted, and Bhakti Thakur also did that. They spoke in English. Ultimately, it cannot be, Vedic knowledge cannot be presented in any other language except Sanskrit. Most of the Indian languages, more or less, they are close. It can be, they are very close. But if you want perfect presentation of this knowledge, that can be done only. Even what Sanskrit is studied now, may not ultimately, if that also fails to completely grasp the Vedic knowledge. So Vedic knowledge, because Vedic knowledge is transcendental. Proper sometimes we would say this is knowledge from the transcendental world. So because what Panini, which is a very famous, Panini is considered as authority in Sanskrit world. What he presented, Vedic statements, they go beyond even his description of language. So, like for example, one book was written on Bhagavatam. Something I don't remember the exact title, like idioms in Bhagavatam or something like that. One Bengali scholar wrote it. From beginning, from the verse number 1, he identified some words in Bhagavatam which doesn't fit into the scheme of Panini grammar. Those words. From that we can understand how even Sanskrit, which we study now, will fail to grasp that Vedic knowledge. Therefore, this Western European scholars, they came and divided, Vedic Sanskrit, classical Sanskrit, and then they divided the Indian history. So Vedic period, then there Puranic period, Mahabharata period, Sutra period, and Pancharatra period, and all this kind of imagined history they developed. That linguisticism, Bhasha Vigyan, linguistics. So divided the whole world into 4 parts, all the world languages into 4 parts. It's all bogus, completely bogus. So, and one reason why even Vedic knowledge is understood by different people in different ways. So different theories are Vada, that is called as Vada. Different Vadas are coming to it. That is one reason. That is not the all and all. Ultimately, this knowledge is revealed knowledge. So until we become purified, you may become scholar of language, but not necessary that you will know things as they are. So ultimately we have to become purified. So in Krishna consciousness we see Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grayam Indriye Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivvado Swayameva Spuratyada. Because this argument comes even when Shabda Pramana is discussed and established as highest Pramana. The argument is made by the other schools, saying that even Shabda is also received through these senses which are imperfect. How is that knowledge becomes perfect like that? So then that idea is answered by saying that how we adopt this methodology and follow that and become purified and receive this transcendental knowledge. Therefore what it is said, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grayam Indre Sevan Mukhe Hi Jivvado Swayameva Spuratyada. Sometime I wondered, it will create a lot of stir among the followers of Vedanta. There should be some commentary in this angle on the Shastra Yonitvat. Even Shastra is not, you cannot know Krishna by Shastra. we hear such statements. Actually, right there in Upanishads, what is that verse? Naham bahuna sutena, what is that verse from which Chandogya Upanishad or something? Huh? Nayam atmana pravachanena labhya na bahun shrutena na veda na bahuna shrutena, like that. So right there, and we from Brahma Samhita, we generally in our moment we often quote Brahma Samhita, Vede Sudurlabha Madurlabha Mahatma Bhakto. If you Vedanta says Shastra Yonitva, you can know him only by Shastra. Then here it contradicts actually, and that is there right there even in the Upanishads. Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhya. Sometime I thought, oh, there should be some commentary on Shastra from this angle. Anyway, so we know Krishna, we learn about Krishna. Ultimately, although in the Shastra whatever is there we try to learn it, that is the intellectual level. But ultimately spiritual level is that Ata Shri Krishna Namadi na bhave grayam indriye sevan mukhe hi jupado swayameva spurachat. When we become sevan mukha. So there, that how to reconcile these both things. We have to just do service. No classes. Why then we are having classes? We could have done 1 hour more service. Why we are having? Rupa Goswami reconciled that in Bhakti Rasamrita, relation between jnana and bhakti. Until we establish our foothold in bhakti, we should have knowledge also from the Shastra. And there are different ways to see. He defines faith, Shabda, faith in the words of books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Shraddha. It is there, spoken by Krishna, I accept it. Like Arjuna accepted. Sarvameta dratam manne yanma vadasi keshava. Nahite Bhagavan Vyakti Vidur Devanadano. If you want to develop faith and bhakti, faith is the beginning of bhakti, right? So faith is the beginning of bhakti means then you have to understand the teachings of Bhagavad Gita very systematically, without any doubt. So one chair. So faith in the words of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Faith means he defined like that, Bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami. So we develop faith by understanding the statements of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam without any doubt. So like that, it's more like intellectual level. So anyway, ultimately spiritual. So gradually it should develop like that. In the end, if you want to put it in a defective Sanskrit, English language, that passionate bhakti, bhakti to Krishna, just like Brajavasis did. There we come to the point of Radha Anuga, right? So following in the footsteps, like gopis, they didn't go to any Gurukula to learn about Krishna. They just did bhakti. So we have to come to that point ultimately. So anyway, the point is that theism, atheism, so there can be different. So Christians believe in God, but Prabhupada said it's not. It's better than atheists. He compared them with if you want to see Western, you can call him as philosopher, Karl Marx. this communist philosophy. So communists, they they spread everywhere by criticizing this Christian, undeveloped Christian theology. So Prabhupada, he noted it down, noted and explained, he spoke on that, how they would go to village communists, and they would, in every village there is some churches there, people attend church. So then they would ask people, challenge people, saying that, okay, now you are going to church and praying to God, give us, oh God, give us our daily bread. Did he give you? And when they go to church, they come back empty-handed. So, but these naive Christians, they could not face this communists, and in this way, so many Christians became communists. So, of course, there would be a lot of political ideologies involved in all these things in every at a given point of time in the world. So, someone to achieve his political end, he will promote some kind of ideology which is suitable for his political career. So this is what happens in society. So for the material world, in the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Because Dhritarashtra, he is doing diplomacy there by speaking that verse. Mamaka Pandavasyaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. He is making distinction, Mamakaha and Pandava. Often this is not explicit actually. Many people who hear proper lecture on this and are, if you read the purport of that verse, how it is not explicit there. Why? How is that Prabhupada is saying that Dhritarashtra is doing diplomacy by using these words? His duplicity is revealed in that. In those words, Mamakaha Pandavasyaiva. This is a problem with us because we don't know Vedic culture. Generally, king is supposed to be considered as father of all the subjects. Not only human beings. Praja. Prajayate. Praja. Iti praja. If you want to define that word. Jayate. Jayate. Ja. Prajayate. Jayate means one who takes birth. So anyone who takes birth, or that means even animals also, they are supposed to be protected by the king. That is king means. The main thing about king is not to show off his opulence. Of course, that also has connection. But his main point thing is like Parashara Muni, how he defined Kshatriya. Kshatriyo hi prajarakshan shastrapani pradandaya nirdishya parasainyadi kshitim dharmena palayet. Kshat, that word Kshatriya comes from protection. What is that? Dhatu. Kshat Rakshani or Kshatrakshani, I forgot. Rakshana, basically the meaning is Rakshana, for protection. That is the main thing in Kshatriya. Brahmanas protect human society. These two classes, Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they should have a very strong sense of protection. So Brahmanas, they protect people religiously. Religiously means dharmic way, that people should not become adharmic. So that strong sense of protection. That is why they try to establish varnashrama. They try to teach about varnashrama. Of because preachers preach about Krishna consciousness. So I am speaking about general Brahmanas in Vedic culture. So they will, by their own example, they will die, but they will never give up religious principles. So that sense, and they want to establish that in the human society and protect religiously. Then Prabhupada said that I travel all over the world so that my disciples don't fall down. Like that. So basically that is spiritual protection which Prabhupada wants to give. Spiritually protect. Then so Kshatriyas, they are generally supposed to protect. Of course they also religious spiritual. Prabhupada in the Bhagavad Gita, why this knowledge was given to sun god Vivaswan. Why that knowledge was given to sun god Vivaswan. So he uses the three terms there in English actually. Culture, knowledge and devotion. Kshatriyas are supposed to lead or protect human society, and protect human beings by culture, knowledge, devotion. So like that there is Kshatriyas, they protect. So Kshatriya is supposed to be like father. He is father. He cannot discriminate. Father doesn't discriminate among his children. So, but this fellow, what is he doing? Mamaka Pandavasya. Forget, they are not general Praja, Pandavas are. They are his own nephews. His own nephews. And they are supposed to be the heirs of the are inheritors of the kingdom, and it is their rightful wealth or kingdom it is, and this guy is making discrimination over them. So this is how it is understood. You see in Bhagavatam it is said why sages in Naimisharanya asked Sutta Goswami that why Parikshit Maharaj, who was like a father to all the living entities, how can he live, renounce the world? Of course, most of the kings renounced the world, but he renounced in a young age. So how can he live? That's why that question came to their mind. And they asked Sutta where this verse from, this question comes from first canto of Bhagavatam. First chapter is called Questions by the Sages, right? Where it comes? It comes in first chapter. It comes in 16th chapter. It comes in 4th chapter, beginning of the 4th chapter. Because there, those questions became the basis of the entire first canto. Basically, 3 questions were there. What is that? How this Bhagavatam got compiled. Then there was a question about Shukadeva. Then Shukadeva, how it was put. Shukadeva question about that he lived in the womb of his mother for 16 years. Why did he take trouble to? He was a Brahmavadi. He was already fixed in Brahman, spiritual. He was already in spiritual platform. Why he took the trouble to, or underwent the trouble to study this vast literature of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, how they are putting it as Brahmavadi, how he was. he immediately, as soon as he took birth, he left the home. Even his father Vyasa, by seeing his affection, even trees started crying. Anyway, so all these things, they come in the 4th chapter of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then later, whole entire first canto there is a history of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then there is about Parikshit's birth. All those things, beginning with like 7th chapter, how it begins. That atrocity caused by Ashwatthama. Then 8th chapter, Kunti, Bhishma's passing away. Then what is it? Dhritarashtra renouncing the world. Everything is connected with Parikshit's birth, right? How Pandavas they left. It is connected with Parikshit's birth and Parikshit's. So later it goes on like that, right? In between there are chapters about Krishna's Dwarka entrance and all those things. Then there is Pandavas renouncing the world. They saw all the bad omens. So then they gave all responsibility to Parikshit and they just left. Krishna, how Krishna protects Parikshit in between also that comes. That right, exactly. You see there are overlapping of different chapters there, but right in between, right, exactly there, what is it? When that happened, Krishna is receiving prayer. Krishna is departing to Dwarka. He is receiving prayers from Kunti Devi. And at that moment only, Uttara is coming running, so pleading to Krishna to protect her womb. So, that one says there, no? Krishna, Krishna, Pai, Mom, like that. So, it is happening there, all these things. So then there is birth of Krishna protects him. And there is birth of Parikshit Maharaj. So it goes on like that. First hand of Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically, how they started their question about Parikshit was that Parikshit was like a father to all the Praja in his kingdom. How could he renounce, leave them and go away? Because a responsible fatherly king, he would not leave there his subjects. That is irresponsible behavior. So similarly, he is supposed to be this blind king, Dhritarashtra. He is supposed to be. He is supposed to not to discriminate between the praja. If he is discriminating, then how he can give justice also? King is supposed to give justice also, proper justice, right justice to everyone. Human rights. Nowadays there is so much cheating in the name of human rights. Human rights. Animal rights, child rights, dogs also have their rights. In a most exploitative society, people they speak about rights and they exploit even the very rights which they are speaking about. So anyway, this blind king was making discrimination. So politics would be always there. Material world Prabhupada, he always said politics. So most of the ideologies are driven by politics and diplomacy in this world. We are speaking in terms of materialistic society. So like that, communists, they converted Christians to communism. So Prabhupada, he said that instead of becoming communist, it is better to be a Christian, going to God for begging food. But this is not a high, very advanced theology, developed theology. So we don't need to go to God for eating, sleeping, mating and defending. Of course, Krishna himself, because he is creator, he has given a system, varnashrama system. He said, Chaturvarne maya srashtam guna karma vivadashaha. Tasya kartaram apima vidya kartaram abhyayam. So basically when he says Tasya kartaram apimam, api, although I am the doer of, creator of this, still I am a karta. Means he is not bound by the action of creating varnashram system. So Mimamsakas may think that, oh look, he is also doing karma. Krishna is also doing karma. He is also bound by karma. Therefore he makes it clear that I am a kartara. Krishna is not bound by the results of creating varnashram system. Whatever the consequences happens by that, he has nothing to do with that. Anyway, so like that. So he gives a system where you can fulfill your material desires, eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So unfortunately, now we are talking about, look, now gradually when we want to come to this point of special contribution of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give Raganuga Bhakti and but already as Krishna, he has given a social system in which this has to be cultivated. Like I am saying, it is a further addition or continuation of existing Vedic system. So now we are trying to realize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's contribution, or appreciate or understand his contribution in a system which is not given by him or Krishna, whatever, in a social system, socio-cultural, whatever philosophy. So we are coming from that background. Of course, we are having some touch of Vedic literature always there, no doubt. So therefore, Prabhupada, he said that Indians will turn to Vedic culture anytime. That means they should be given that direction, that knowledge. They should be exposed to it. So anyway, the point is that so it is not a very advanced Christian theology. We go to Krishna, but it is better than atheism. So then after that we come to, in India we see come to this, all this kind of yoga, karma, mimamsa, so nyaya, so all these things are there. Then you come to the point of bhakti. You come to the point of bhakti. Jnana, prajnana, yoga, karma. So karma, jnana, yoga. So you come to the point of bhakti, or you come to the point of yoga. So initially yoga or spiritual life is basically to attain moksha, mukti, or in the parlance of karmavadis, naishkarmya, becoming free from the results of karma, bondage of karma. Naishkarmya word comes in Bhagavad Gita if you see again and again. What is the meaning of that? So basically you become free from the bondage of karma. That is called as naishkarmya. Results of action and actions. Naishkarmya. So that is the beginning stage, very early stage, initial stage. So then you come to the point of devotion. So Vaishnava, there are general follow Vedanta. So actually spirituality comes, yoga, spirituality. Yoga word is used by Patanjali and company. But actual, if you want to discuss spirituality, it comes to the point of Vedanta. So then there are Mayavadi Vedantists are there. So Mayavadi Vedantists are there. So they are called as, what is their contribution? So Shankaracharya, he spoke about polytheism, it is pantheism, polytheism, and we call it as covered Buddhism. What is that? Prachanam Bauddha Muchate. They say that this is an interpolated verse, Padma Purana. It is not there. Mayavadis, they argue like that. Present day Mayavadis, Neo Mayavadis, whatever followers of argue that. But even if that verse is not there, you don't need to every time for every thought there should be a verse in the, if you have support from that is there. Ultimately we have Shastra Pramana, Shabda Pramana. But many things you can understand logically, philosophically. So the essence of that verse, if you see philosophically, that is what they are actually. Now, from their sophisticated philosophical system, Mayavadis, they may say, when we say Aham Brahmasmi, generally it is translated as I am God, Aham Brahmasmi. Mayavadis, they always teach that I am God, you are God, everyone is God, like that. So then Mayavadis generally they argue that, this is not actually the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi, because their idea of Brahma, Parabrahma and all is clearly different from their sophisticated, so-called sophisticated, very advanced philosophical system. You people are misinterpreting us, like that, they say. But that is what is ultimately it is. If you see philosophically, logically, that is what they are saying. Advaita means you are one with God, Ishvara. So Saguna, Brahma, Nirguna Brahma, and all this kind of things they bring up. So Prabhupada used to use this word jugglery, expert in word jugglery. So what is their contribution, Mayavadis? So they brought up this Panchopasana. So you can say it is polytheism or pantheism in English. So but it is Panchopasana, Shankaracharya. But often we see them so many different devis they keep worshipping. Actually, in India, you see that they say that there are 33 crore demigods and all. Actually, 33 demigods are there. Often, like Mataji has unlimited forms are there. Like here, Hasanamba is worshipped. Mataji is worshipped as Hasanamba there. So different people worship her different forms. So it seems that there are crores and crores and crores. There are no crows. Only. Anyway, so Shankaracharya he taught Panchopasana, worship of Vishnu, Shiva, Durga, Ganesha, and Surya. So that is a contribution of Shankaracharya. I think we have to stop this. We'll go on. We'll continue this. Krishna willing, tomorrow, hopefully. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Those who have got late, please leave. Those who want to ask questions, they can ask. Any questions, comments? You have something? Oh. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. We are covering up some last week some classes.